Hello, everyone. Welcome to Online Learning with Miss Diaz. So, we are still on the topic of social studies for this week. I hope everyone has been enjoying the lesson so far. It is different, but I think it's pretty cool because I can show you guys how to do internet searches much easier. So, let's begin with today's lesson. So, today, by our title, states and their capitals. So the other day we were just focusing on the difference between states, countries, and continents. So keep that knowledge in mind while we go through today's lesson. So let's start with our lesson targets. So our first one, I can explain what a state capital is. I can read a map correctly in order to find out what I am looking for. I can use the map key to understand what the symbols on a map represent. So, understanding what a state capital is important because every state in the United States has a capital, and you need to know where those are. Reading a map correctly is always important. If you need to find out where to go, or if you're doing an assignment and you need to look at a map, you have to be able to read it correctly. Using a map key is really going to help you understand what exactly you're looking for and be able to find it quickly. So those are our lesson targets for today. So, what is a capital? So let's do a quick recap of what a state is before we jump into what a capital is. So a state is a nation or territory that is part of one government. Remember? Just like New York State. So New York State is part of one government in the entire United States. A state capital is a place in a state or nation that houses the government of that state. So, in other words, a state capital is a place where the government of that state is. So, in New York, our state capital has our state government. Little bit confusing, but I hope it'll be clear once this lesson continues on. So, state capitals are also the center of culture and history for that state. If you go to the Capitol here in New York State, the Capitol has museums that have the history of New York and people who founded this state, and that's part of our history and culture as a state. Each state in the United States has a capital city. So every state, all 50 states, have a capital city. Every capital city has the government, the history and culture centers for that state. So let's look at an example. So here's a map of New York State with a capital symbol. So remember, let's look at our map key. So here's all of New York State. And if we look at our map key, it says that state capital is marked with a star. So let's find the star. So if you just follow my little mouse here, the star is right by Albany. So Albany must be the capital of New York State. If we look at our key a little bit more, you can see that this circle is what represents city. So let's see. Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. They're all marked with this dot. That means they're cities. But Albany is marked with a star. That means it's a state capital. So this is a detailed map because it has a lot of labels, it has a compass, it has a key. If we look at this map, it's not really a map, it's kind of more like a diagram almost. It's just a picture. But as you can see, it has the same star. This is the area where Albany is, and Albany is the state capital of New York State. So, state capitals on a map. So on maps, the state capital is sometimes marked with a symbol. It can either be a star or a red or black dot, depending on the color of the map. Some maps are in black and white, some maps have tons of different colors. So you really have to look at the map key first to figure out what all the symbols mean. If we look at this key, that has a symbol for mountains, cities and towns, the capital is marked with a star, it has a little symbol for lakes, for rivers, distance, and a compass. the most important thing to look at to find out the symbol is the map key. So remember, the map key is a little chart that explains the symbols on a map and what they represent. So even before you start looking for what you're trying to look for, you want to look at a map key, and this will help you find that so much quicker. So here are some states and their capitals. So, like we talked, we go back to that slide. The state capital of New York is Albany. The state capital of California is Sacramento. And the state capital of Texas is Austin. So if we take a quick little dive into Google, let's look at a map of Texas. So let me type that in. Texas state map. Let's make this bigger. Let's go to images. So here's Texas. Texas is a state in the United States. We zoom in on this. Let's look at our key. The state capital is marked with a star. Cities are marked with a circle. And bodies of water are marked with blue. So let's look around. Find that star. Boom. The state capital of Texas is Austin. These little circles represent cities. So you have San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. Those are all cities in Texas. Let's look at California. That was our other state. There we go. California. Let's see if we can find one with a key that's not too complicated. And this is blurry. Cool. Ooh, this is a lot. All right, let's do our best. So remember, let's look at that key first. So state capitals are marked with a red dot that has a black dot in the middle. So let's look at that. There's a lot of county seats. So there's a lot of those, but we are looking for our state capital. The white dots are for cities or towns. Right there. Red dot, black dot in the middle, Sacramento. That is the capital of California state. So I know a lot of you have heard of like Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco. Those are cities or counties. Kind of like Monroe County here in Rochester. But our capital, or the capital of California, is Sacramento. Let's look at one more state, just because this is kind of part of your assignment for today. Let's click on that one. Oh, not that one. This one. Perfect. Okay, map key, state capital, cities, national parks. So the same way as the California map, you have that red dot with the black one in the middle. So Alaska's pretty big, right next to Canada. And Russia's on the other side. This is a country. This is a country too. But this is a state. Junio. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. But if we look at the little dot, black dot in the middle, that is the state capital of Alaska. Okay, so let's go back to our PowerPoint. Let's do a recap. So, 1, a state capital is the place that houses the government of that state. So if you go to the state capital here in New York State, which is Albany, you will find the government of New York State. State capitals are also the cultural and historical centers for that state. So again, you take a little trip to Albany, you will be able to find tons of museums and tons of history of the beginning of New York State and who formed it, who made really important laws that we still have now. You'll be able to find all that history and the culture as well. Third, on a map, you can find the capital of a state by looking at the map key and finding the symbol that represents it. So just like we just did, I looked at the map key first, and then I went searching in the map. This is going to make your process much easier when you're looking for something specific. So if you're looking for the state capital, if you're looking for a certain city, or if you're looking for a river or for a park, you want to look at that map key first. That way you know what symbol to look for. So today's assignment. Your assignment for tonight is to find 10 states in the United States and list what their capitals are. So the same way that I went on Google and I typed in the state and I typed in state capital, that's what I would like you guys to do tonight. You can even have a list of different states in the United States to help you make your selection of 10 states. You can open a Google Doc on Google Classroom and make your list. On one side of that list, have the 10 states of your choice. On the other side, list each state's capital. I will include an example of what your assignment should look like on Google Classroom. This should be super simple, and hopefully you don't have any technical issues with Google Classroom or with opening the Google Doc. If you do, just send me an email and I'll be right there to help you. So, that is our lesson, and that is your assignment. So let me know if you have any issues, and please submit your assignment onto Google Classroom. I will see you guys later. Be safe. Have a good day. See ya.